Yeah, I do this all night. We chillin' all night.
What's up, guys? It's the Late Nights with Levi podcast show here, where we have real talk, faith, motivation, all in one. If you like this content, guys, remember, subscribe, comment, like, and share. Remember, I do this for you. I can't do this without you, right? Let's get into it.
We chillin' all night. We chillin' all night. We chillin' all night.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Late Nights with Levi channel. You know we chilling all night and we do this all night, okay? Today I got a fun guest for you here. He's a former Marine entrepreneur, Austin Clifton. Can you introduce yourself?
I'd love to. Thanks, Levi. My name is Austin Clifton, but he's calling me Cliffy. And right now I'm working at my dad's business, trying to learn how to scale, make it more profitable, and really expand it overall. I just got done with a 2.5-year contract in the Marine Corps. That was about a year ago. I was a data systems administrator. So whether it's fixing PCs or building servers, I've always kind of been in that tech savvy, nerdy field, and nice. I love it.
Nice. So can you, data systems, like what made you go to data systems in the Marine?
Yeah, so it's all kind of random. At first, you kind of get told like this broad MOS, and the MOS that's another term for like job. There's too many acronyms in the military, so many letters. But so my job was just overall communications. I didn't know that I was going to be specifically a data systems administrator. I could have been a satellite engineer, still within that communications field. But then you go do a bunch of training. You've heard of like your boot camp stories, but it goes more than that. There's boot camp, MCT, a bunch of training, and then you get to your schoolhouse. You learn how to do the job that you just found out. That's not like you don't find out what job you have until after all the training. Yeah. So first you learn how to be a Marine, then you learn how to specialize in your job, and then from there you get sent to the Fleet Marine Force, which is like that's what your permanent duty station will be for the rest of your contract.
Okay. Wow. So you have boot camp, and then you have actual like specialization, and then you get sent to Fleet Corps.
Yeah, right? Fleet Marine Corps.
Fleet Marine Corps, which is what, like hands-on, like now you're in your field?
Yes, exactly. You got it.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, you mentioned you're a little nerdy, so that's probably what made you choose to go into data systems, or was there something else that kind of influenced your decision?
No, yeah, I really wanted, it's kind of ironic, I wanted like a 9-to-5 kind of job in the military, which I found out is not possible when you're in uniform. You're in uniform 24/7. Yeah. And so I really wanted the most like, I wanted to stay far away from combat. I've always been an athletic kid, but like I just didn't want to have to do the hikes, didn't want to have to do the shooting.
Wasn't your kind of
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'd rather work on the computer, not on the
field.
Not on the field.
Not in the field, right?
Sweet. The field.
Well, that's cool. So Austin Clifton, Marine, actually you're a veteran, right? At 21, like you got out of your contract. So a veteran. That's why we're doing this episode. Veterans Day was just here, guys. So always remember, never forget. We appreciate those who serve. Thank you, guys. But let's get into some questions, man. I mean, I was thinking you were more of the in the field combat kind of guy, okay? So some of these questions I got are kind of like that. We're like, I thought you was a shooter or a sniper or something, but I didn't expect data systems. So this is going to be fun. This is going to be very fun.
Yeah.
So I guess what age did you join the military?
I had just turned 18, and a couple days after I turned 18, I went off to boot camp.
Right. Wow. So what do you think about the age of enlistment? Do you agree with the age of enlistment, or do you think it should be changed?
That's like a double-edged sword, man. It's really tough because you only have to spend like 20 years, only 20 years in the military.
Only 20 years, guys. Like, no.
But you think about that, 20 years after 18, you're 38 and you can retire. You got a pension after that. You never have to work. You never have to lift your hand a day in the rest of your life.
They take care of all your stuff, right?
Exactly.
And I've heard sometimes, is that like the truth? Like that they actually do that and take care of every.
Like if you do especially if you do your 20 years, I get minimal. I still get some benefits, but I don't get like a pension. I don't get a paycheck for the rest of my life unless I'm like disabled or I got messed up. Okay. Then that'd be like disability compensation, which I am trying to get.
What disability do you have?
So mental illnesses definitely count. So I had an incident where I had just gotten to the Fleet Marine Force, right? What we were talking about. And I had some corporals come banging on my door at like 3 a.m. on a work night. Wow. I had no idea it was corporals. I thought it was maybe like super high-ranking officials. Something was wrong. So I answered the door, and these guys with duct tape over their nameplates, so I can't read their uniform or anything.
Right.
They're in uniform, and they come in and they start like harassing me and hazing me. And they actually pinned me down with a towel and like stepped on the towel and waterboarded me with Jack. Yes, they waterboarded me with Jack Daniels. And so it was like this super horrible experience, very, very bad. But that's just some of the things. Yeah, you got to be prepared.
Yo, so and that caused some trauma. Of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. And I mean, wow. That what an experience.
Definitely.
Like, what an experience. What'd you do after that?
So I wanted to go and report it to the higher ups, but there's just this culture of tradition, and specifically in the Marine Corps, where it's like, don't ask, don't tell. Like when everybody has to go through some kind of crazy experience like that, you're not really special for going through it. So everybody else kind of has their own hazing story. Everyone's kind of getting, when you're at the bottom of the totem pole, you're brand new. You kind of just get treated unfairly.
There's hazing in the military. There's levels in class. And that's actually really interesting to think about. Like, people think about military and we think very strict, classy, like on point, like very sharp.
Yeah.
But to think that, like, I wouldn't think anything like this goes on in the military. I feel like the soldiers are in line, they're in check. There's a schedule. There's a regimen.
Yeah.
But to think like this, wow, that happened. Like, wow, it's just interesting. Right?
Yeah,
it's crazy. Wow,
it's getting filtered out the more we go. Like that whole traditionary thing, where like, oh well, it happened to me, so it's okay to do it to you. That's definitely, they're getting stricter and stricter, and it is becoming more uniform, like you're talking about.
Right, more actually the military, because when people think of the military, okay, I think this happens. Your story, I'm like, okay, that happens your freshman year at freaking UCLA or something, right? Yeah. Not in the United States Marine Corps. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? Like,
exactly.
That is just a really crazy thing to think about. Like, and I've never been close to joining the military, or I mean, I've only heard stories from what I can tell, and so I'm like, that's something I just wouldn't think about. You know, I think when I think military, I think kids in uniforms waking up at 7 a.m. getting yelled at, going through drill, lifting, and then doing classes and stuff. You know, not waterboarding the newbie. You know, and Jack Daniels.
Yeah, it's definitely different for everybody. Wow. In a lot of places, it is just exactly what you imagine it.
Right.
But everybody has a different experience.
That's crazy. And so, how did that affect you then mentally? This is a little deeper question.
Yeah. So I didn't touch alcohol for a while after that. I just got, especially like whiskey. I still have a really hard time with whiskey. I had some trust issues for a little bit too. I didn't know which of like the higher ups were going to come knocking on my door again, because these guys, they weren't any like super high ranking people. They were just corporals, which is like, you can pick up corporal like 3 years in your contract. It doesn't take like a super long time to acquire that rank or anything. And so I just had no idea if I lost some sleep, definitely thinking like, shoot, they can just come at any given time and just bang on my door and do that again. But
heck, man.
Yeah, it's some scary stuff.
Like, and that's traumatizing. Like, I would think for a drill, maybe, like, okay, in this 4 a.m., we knock on your door. Maybe these are some, like, in a drill, like, these are some terrorists coming to raid the camp. Like, okay. But like, for that kind of issue, it's like, that should be taken care of, man. That's unacceptable in any level, any form, anywhere, any place. You know.
I agree.
Wow, thanks. But so do you think the draft should exist?
I don't believe in war, so no. I think it's all for money and all for just evil. I don't think anybody needs to die. And also, like, our next war should be like robots fighting each other. Really, it's 2025.
Well, yeah, I forget who said it, but he was like, World War III will be fought with nukes, and then World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. You know,
I see.
And it's interesting, because the military guy says he doesn't believe in war. And that's actually one of my questions here, is, do you think war is necessary in general?
No, it's all a political thing. And I'm terrible with conspiracies. I kind of believe anything that I scroll up on, but like, really? I feel like a lot of war and a lot of deaths are super unnecessary and just kind of politically motivated, economically motivated.
So what has made you take that stance, and why did you go? Did you have that stance before you went to the Marines, or after you got out of the Marines?
I think it developed as I was in the Marine Corps, and as I was dealing with all that BS, I was like, man, this is so unnecessary. Yeah. And then I start thinking more into it, and it's like, why do we even have this? Why is this a thing? I felt like I was in a frat. You compared to UCLA. Yeah, I was looking for like a very a job that people would kind of look up to me to. I wanted to get that pride from it, but after going through all that stuff, I was like, man, there's not a lot that's prideful about this. And so
there's no honor and duty in it. Why is that? Like, most people look at Marines as honored and and actually the ones that do deserve that, right? Yeah. But not the ones who were waterboarding a 17-year-old or 18-year-old. But a guy who went to the Marines hates war. Where did that perspective kind of start to develop then, I guess? And where did that perspective start to develop?
Oh, I think it started to develop definitely after dealing with some of the BS and the things that, like the irrelevant things, like the waterboarding incident, or like all the hazing that kind of takes place, just like higher ups that want to like to stand on their high horse, if you will, very prideful ones that kind of just want to have the satisfaction of ordering people around, right? Yeah. And so it's from all the bad leadership that I really started to question, the ultimate leader, like our government, like, what's the direction there? What are their motives? Because I know the motives of these corporals or whatnot are just, like I said, the satisfaction of moving people around when they want to. But like, what do people think when they have huge like stances
when
of
they
power?
Actually have like you said, power. Like they can actually send thousands of people to war. Right.
What satisfies them? Is it really like in the safety and the interest of the people, or do they have their own motives?
So you started to think about where you were at, what you were experiencing, and the value of it. Yeah. Honestly, right?
Yeah.
Because like you said, you went into it trying to be honorable, right? You went into it trying to, this is an honorable job profession. I want to do my best in this, and I'm serving my country. And then you kind of got slapped in the face, right?
Yeah.
Wow. And it's really, really just mind blowing to think about, guys. That this kind of happens in the military. It gives you some food for thought, right?
Right.
So my next question, I guess, is where were you stationed at?
I was stationed at Camp Pendleton, California. It's right in between LA and San Diego. So I was in like the armpit of Pendleton. Pendleton, the base itself is like a whole city. It takes you like 45 minutes to drive from one corner to the other corner. Like it's a huge place. And so about the size of Cedar Rapids, I'd say, maybe a little smaller. But so this base is huge. And where I was at in Camp Pendleton was called Camp Horno. And we call it the armpit of Pendleton because it's right in the middle. It's very far away from all your civilian locations like LA and San Diego. But Oceanside was about a 25-minute drive, and that was my favorite place to go. I love California.
What's cool? You love Cali?
I love it, yeah.
Really? I don't know. I mean, Cali's... The people in Cali I don't like.
This is true.
Cali's a beautiful place, and overall, for sure. Everybody I've met from California, they're nuts.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So if you could join any nation special forces, which nation would you choose?
Any nations? Oh.
And I don't even know the names of their special forces. I know SEAL Team 6, and then I know Britain has some, and I don't know their names. But if you could join any of them, which nation special forces would you probably choose?
I'm trying to think of like Call of Duty, like the coolest looking like Black Ops uniforms, whichever one is that. Yeah. One of the like the cool night vision goggles and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. So each branch has their own like special forces.
Really?
The Navy has their SEALs, the Navy SEAls. The Army would be like the Green Berets. The Marine Corps would be like Marine Corps Reconnaissance. But like, there's a bunch of different special forces.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know that, man. I grew up in the fantasy. I grew up thinking SEAL Team 6 was our nation special forces.
Oh, no.
Wow. But every branch has its own special force.
Yeah, yep.
And is there like a special force of the special forces? You know what I'm saying?
Probably, yeah. I would imagine.
Oh, dude. So which nation would you choose?
Dude, this is crazy. Maybe Japan's?
Japan?
Yeah.
Let's look up Japan's special force.
Yeah, it's got to be Japan or China. Not to join the enemy, but
Ooh, you're gonna make some enemies, man.
That's true. No, Japan is an ally. I don't even know.
They're an ally.
I was gonna say
China's not.
Right, but it's mostly just like what we frame it to like.
They're called Ground Self-Defense Force for ground operations, and the special boarding unit is SBU of the Maritime Self-Defense Force for maritime operations.
That's for Japan?
Yeah. Huh. Special Force Group is what they're called. Not a very creative name, yeah. But Japan's primary ground specialist operation unit.
Interesting. What their uniforms look like.
Oh, let's look at them.
I'm gonna change my mind if they're wearing. That's pretty tight. Yeah, I'd roll with that.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah. Let's see. Who would I go as?
What's your?
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. I might go Russia, bro. I might go the Russian special forces here, called the Spetsnaz. Yeah, that's from Call of Duty, right? The Spetsnaz, man. Yeah. But here, this is the coolest picture I could pull up.
Oh, they got this sick mask.
Yeah, right. They got that little school mask, the Spetsnaz, and they got a cool ass name, and they go through like a bunch of crazy training.
I bet.
So my next question then for you would be, what do you think about LGBTQ being removed from the military?
I gotta say, I think it's for the better. I think that it's man, this is kind of diabolical to say, but I think a majority of that group, they've got some like a mental illness, and it's there's a study. I wish I could pull it up, but a majority of those. The people that believe in the large spectrum of genders, a large percentage of them have been diagnosed with like mental illnesses. Not to say that they're all dumb or like subhuman or anything, but they it's an interesting thought process. I think it's very like, I want to be different kind of thought process, and so. That doesn't really slide in the military. Nobody is different. It's you guys all have to be the same. It's very uniform, and so if you've got that kind of mentality in there, especially when you've got like combat related roles, if you've got somebody that needs a certain, like if they get injured on the battlefield, and they want to claim that they're a male, but they don't have the male attributes or whatever, how can I trust that they can drag my like limp body out to come and recover and save me?
When you say male attributes, what do you mean?
So like if there's
because like a 6-foot gay guy could probably drag somebody out.
This is true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like male,
but maybe like a transgender that's that was previously female and is now male. I don't think they would have like the biological like the muscles and everything that most men would have. I would prefer a male, that 6-foot gay guy drags me out rather than
I hear you. So you think there's just you think they shouldn't be allowed because there's just a physical
demand.
Yeah, a physical difference there.
Yeah.
And biological.
But on a
biological difference.
For sure.
But what's the difference between, I guess, the transgender and like a female military officer dragging you off of that battlefield? Is there a difference?
The female military officer, I would hope that she would be able to. But yeah, with a full kit on, I mean, I'm only about 160 pounds, but then you've got the SAPI plates, like the bulletproof plates, you got the vest, you got the main pack, you got your rifle, you've got all that extra weight, and then you got to start being realistic with numbers. Like, is any female capable of dragging someone? They could have to drag me like half a mile, and is that really going to happen? But it's possible.
Yeah, it is. Like it is. That's a great take on it. Very good take on it. I think. Honestly, I don't know where I stand. I mean, I think when it comes down to my perspective, when it comes down to who do I want to save my life or who do I want defending me?
Yeah.
I think, again, it comes to a physical standard type of point for me. You know what I'm saying? Like physically, who's going to get the job done? There's a reason that all these YouTubers and all these guys are hiring 6-foot, 250-pound like jack dudes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, who's going to actually be able to defend my life?
Yeah. Is it that person, or is it like the short girl with blue hair.
Right. Right. And I mean, it also goes out to like a statement of power, like in China, you got kids in third grade knowing how to take apart and put together a rifle, right, or a pistol, right? In Russia, you got like they're 12 years old and they're being trained as snipers, and then in America we've got LGBTQ ads for the military. I mean, it also comes down to who are you going to fear most when it comes down to war.
Yeah,
like,
fear aspect. That's
you
huge.
feel me? Like it's also a mental and psychological game.
Yeah.
Which would lead me to my next question is how do they prepare you psychologically to be a Marine? And then do you think they need to do a better job of psychologically preparing you to be a Marine?
That is a good question. Most of the psychological aspect comes at boot camp. That's when it's like you're really going through that change of environments from your civilian lifestyle to like hold respect, you're a valued individual, to boot camp where you're a recruit. You can't even say words like I, me, or my. Like you're no longer an individual. You have to refer to yourself as this recruit. So I'm telling my drill instructor, I'm like, good morning, sir. This recruit requests to use the restroom or whatever.
You're literally talking to yourself, third person, talking about yourself, third person.
Yeah, to really get that like
dehumanizing.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Yeah, that feel. Yeah, that's usually.
What?
But that's the whole philosophy, though, is like breaking you down to then build you back up as a Marine, as something new,
into a weapon.
Yeah,
essentially, right. That's the military. It is like a weapon.
Yeah.
So, like brainwashing you, basically.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Wow. And do you think they need to do a better job psychologically on the mental? Like, I know, because listen, I'm looking at it like how many of these Army men, how many of these Marines come out with PTSD or a whole lot of mental health? Do we need to do, instead of trying to break them down, do we need to find a more effective way psychologically to build soldiers?
I would agree with that. I think we do. I didn't like a lot of the just run back and forth, because I tell you too, I didn't think that did a great job of breaking me down in a super psychologically beneficial way. Some of it was really like just not necessary whatsoever.
Right.
So
I mean, sometimes it's more physical. They're trying to prepare you physically, but again, they're not thinking mentally, psychologically,
Right.
Like your soldiers' morale is a thing, right?
Yes.
Your soldiers want to fight for something like that they believe in. So if you're beating them down, not to say don't be hard on our soldiers,
right,
but if you're like beating them down unnecessarily and crap like waterboarding's going on, you really think these soldiers are going to be motivated
to go to work the next morning?
Motivated to fight for you?
Exactly.
If the opposing side asks for a ransom, you really think these soldiers are going to be wanting to give that ransom? That's my take on it. I think psychologically there needs to be a better way of dealing with soldiers and troops. Because we could definitely cut this down to where maybe a third of them don't come back with all this mental baggage and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, war is war, right? And it's really bad, and it's really gruesome and vile and traumatizing. But like, there's got to be a way to better train these troops to prepare for that.
Yeah, because this percentage, like you said, it seems way too high. Why is there so many people that end up with like lifelong mental illnesses because they're trying to do something
they can't even shake this, you know what I'm saying? Well, next question. This has been great. Next question I want to ask you, I guess, is what made you join the Marine? You kind of touched on it like earlier, but what really made you join the Marines?
Oh, yeah. I think it was a huge pride aspect.
Yeah.
I viewed myself as a terrible student. I went from like a 4.5 GPA my freshman year of high school down to like maybe like a 3 or sub 3. And so I was just skipping classes all the time. And I wanted to prove to people.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Keep going.
Prove to people that I could do more, mostly prove to myself that I could do more, because I've always had this pride issue where I don't just want to be average or slightly above average. I've got this feeling I need to be the best.
Yeah, everybody does. That's a healthy thing, like that feeling of you got to be the best.
Yeah, number one.
What you do, like motivation, you got to, and even if you can't be the best, do the best. Do your best.
Right, yeah, all the way. And so that was my mentality of joining the Marine Corps specifically. Out of all the branches, was like, well, if I'm going to join one of these, it's got to be the toughest one, the most like motivating one. Like you tell people you're in the Navy and they're like, oh yeah, well, thank you for your service. So you tell them that you're in the Marine Corps and they're like, oh wow, cool. Like I've heard about the Marines, like, you know, and so huge pride factors.
Were you thinking it was going to be as hard as it was?
I thought it was going to be hard in different aspects. I thought it was going to be hard, like working out and physically all around the clock, but I did not imagine the mental strain that it would have on you and all the unnecessary crap that you have to deal with on top of your laborious work schedule alone. So,
wow. So you didn't think it was going to be like a lot of analytical work. You thought it was more physically going to be more physically taxing, right?
Yeah.
But then there's that aspect of it too, and I guess I never thought about that, but it's really educating for me to hear this. Like, there's a lot of analytical work in the military. Right. You know, you got to be on point on your schedules. You know, like just stuff like that. The stuff that doesn't have to be just like hard training, like physicality, fighting and killing people. You know,
exactly.
On to my next question. How many people actually made it through your Marine training?
Yeah, it's a really large percentage. You can't really get out of it unless you say, like, I quit. And even then, they're still going to push you and want you to keep going because they want you to graduate boot camp.
Really?
But, yeah, I think our platoon started at, like, 92, and we probably graduated with, like, 86 or 88. And so very, very few. And most of those people didn't even, like, get sent home. They just got put in, like, a holding unit where sometimes they have like injuries that are too bad and they can't continue with the training, so they just get put on pause and then they get put on a different platoon to eventually graduate. So yeah, there's probably one or two people in my entire platoon of almost 100 people that went home that couldn't do it.
I would think it would be the opposite. Actually, I would think that there'd be very, very few people because, like, again, like you said, the Marines are the best of the best, right? Think the best in the military. I think there'd be very few people who can make it through training, you know, and then get that highest honor. But really, do they make it easy? Like, do they put, not easy in a sense, but do they like you said, they push for you to graduate? So what does that look like if I'm a recruit and I thinking about throwing in the towel?
Yeah, they put you on the same level as everybody, like we talked about, like that uniformity and everything. And so they make it seem like if you're slacking, then the rest of your platoon has to pay for it, kind of just as a mass punishment way of getting everyone on the same level. And so once you feel on that same level, then it's like, well, if my buddy to my left and right can do it, I know I can keep doing it.
Okay. And that's the psychology that goes into it too. Right. That uniformity, that's interesting. So I guess then leading into that, since not a lot of people quit, you know, how hard is the training? And is it true that they dang near try to, you know, KILL you in training? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a few. I noticed there's a platoon. They were a few weeks behind us on training, but there's a guy that died due to like invalid, like he didn't have enough nutrients and he wasn't eating right. And so the training is definitely borderline. Like it'll push you to your
rigorous.
Max,
sure. I mean, that's the goal of it, is like to push you to your body's max.
Past, really. Past yeah. There's times where if I didn't have a drill instructor constantly over top of me, I would have quit way early on. Way early on.
Yeah. So what's the training look like then? Like what's the training look like?
It's a lot of hiking. Actually was the hardest part for me, was having like 60, 70 pounds in your backpack and hiking for 13 miles, 15, 19 miles. Like, oh wow, it's a long time and you're not moving very fast. So you're just lifting a bunch of weight with a rifle.
You're kind of marching like you're in a Yep. Really? So hiking was the toughest thing. What are some of the other training exercises?
We've got 2 annual training things. There's the PFT, the physical fitness test, and the CFT, which is the combat fitness test. And so they're each graded out of 300 points. And the PFT consists of like a 5-kilometer run. So we're always getting cardio in, trying to get that 5K, that time down. And pull-ups. There's so many. That's a lot of pull-ups. So many pull-ups. There's pull-up bars everywhere, all over the entire base.
Yeah. Oh wow. People are just doing pull-ups every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Pull-ups
24/7.
Yeah.
What's the CFT look like?
The combat fitness test is there's like a buddy drag, so like it involves like throwing a grenade, like a fake grenade, and then a lot of sprints, some ammo can lifts. You're walking with like 2 big ammo cans, and then like dragging a buddy and then putting him over your shoulder and like running with him, and it's kind of this course laid out over like a football field. And you got to go like down and back. One end is like the grenade, and but it's all timed, and you get under a certain time, and you get like your max 100 points for that.
Wow.
For that thing.
And you're dragging. You're dragging who are you dragging on you?
A buddy, like
a buddy. Really, you're dragging
weight.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And like, do they try to pair you up with someone around your size, or do they not?
They try to. In boot camp, they don't care. In boot camp, they'll put the smallest guy with the biggest guy just for fun. But when you're actually in the Fleet Marine Force, like everyone typically wants you to get the best score that you can. So sometimes they'll even have like a female Marine like be the buddy person for everybody. But that's kind of cheap.
That's when you're like at the bottom. They're like trying to get you to. So it's not like the Captain America movie where they throw the grenade and Steve jumps on top of it thinking it's gonna. Oh wow,
no real grenades.
No real grenades.
No real grenades. They saw too many recruits with really wobbly hands, and they said this is a bad idea.
We don't trust these kids. Okay, then I guess what is the craziest thing you have experienced then as a Marine?
The craziest thing. There was, especially in my unit, drugs are a no-go for the military, right? But these Marines are so crazy that like they'll end up finding like workarounds for that, and so like drugs like mushrooms and LSD that were out of your system and didn't really pop up on drug tests. Those were so common. I got introduced to like what mushrooms even were and what like LSD was in the Marine Corps.
Are you serious?
I'd never seen that stuff in real life. Maybe a couple times in my civilian life, but I was seeing that stuff every weekend in the Marine Corps. All the barracks parties, like everyone was just tripping out their gourd, and it was crazy. And so,
are you serious?
Oh yeah, all the time. Coke was a common one too, but
really,
yeah, but that one was riskier because that one takes like 3-4 days to get out of your
up on
system.
Drug tests and stuff.
Yeah, it did.
So you have these Marines doing drugs and stuff. Wow.
Lots of them. Yeah, and so the craziest story would probably someone took a strip, which is I think 10 tabs of LSD. 10, which is
somewhere around there. Yeah.
10 tabs of LSD, and he like jumped from the 3rd or 4th deck. I don't know if he thought he could fly or what.
What?
Yeah, but he got seriously injured.
Tripping off mushrooms and acid, and we're supposed to protect our country.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a frat by night, Marine Corps by day kind of deal, I guess. But yeah, a lot of. I mean, you kind of have to have this crazy mentality if you really, if you're gonna sustain a long time in the Marine Corps, and so that crazy personality kind of comes with some interesting side interests.
I guess, yeah, you do. Like, you're already crazy to go to the Marines, and then interesting hobbies. I guess, how did you stay out the way then? You know,
I didn't think it was worth risking my career over. Getting kicked out. There's a lot. It's really easy to get kicked out. It's there's a no drug policy. Like, it's very, very strict. You pop on one drug test and you're usually cooked.
And okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I heard stories all the time about Marines that would they'd get popped on a drug test, but then they would talk to their sergeants, or like they would, if they're typically a good Marine, like they let it slide, or they give them a big slap on the wrist. There's something called like NJP, which is a non-judicial punishment. So it's like it's pretty much like you're getting in legal trouble, just without it doesn't translate over your civilian life. It's more like legal trouble.
Legal in the military, because there's military police too.
Yes, right? Exactly.
I mean, military is its own kind of society.
Yeah, exactly.
To say, right?
Right.
So what does that so then I guess, what does the military society look like? You know?
It looks like something different just like we have our United States, we've got different cultures depending on where you're at, where you're located. So different bases, whether you're in Camp Pendleton or over in Okinawa, Japan, like have different traditions, different morals, different chains of command. Like, everybody leads in a different way, and it kind of shapes the entire base ultimately. And even like the sub bases within the base all kind of operate differently, just depending on who's in charge and who's running the show. But it can vary quite a bit.
Yeah, it can vary. Wow. So I mean, in the form of like, then you said you wouldn't technically get in like civilian legal trouble, but military legal trouble, what does that kind of look like?
It looks like You can lose pay. They can take like half your pay. So
wow.
imagine like you're getting the same paycheck every single 2 weeks.
Right.
Now it just gets cut in half. And
wow.
that could really mess you up if you got like, if you're married, if you got a family, some kids or something.
Mhm.
So that's a huge thing. Also having to serve like extra punitive duties. So when everybody else gets to go home for the rest of the day, you have to stay and you have to do whatever it is that the person on duty has you. It could just be cleaning or sweeping, like sweeping the concrete outside.
Wow.
Just like
So yeah,
stuff.
some different types of punishment. Just kind of depends on the crime, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
All right. So who would win? Rambo or 5 SEAL Team 6 members?
Oh, I'm gonna go with the SEAL Team 6 members.
Really?
Yeah. I think 5 of them, they got the upper hand. I mean, they're equipped, right?
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
right. But I don't know. Rambo like tore through the whole Vietnamese like army.
This
like,
is true.
single-handedly. Like he made his own traps and he like out of wood and stuff. Like he'd be like, have you seen the Rambo movies?
I haven't. No.
You haven't seen the
No.
Rambo movies? Oh, okay, you got to watch that.
I should watch them and then answer that.
Yeah,
question.
you definitely need to then because I don't know. I think like Rambo of our John Wick is the Rambo of our time. Is what
Okay.
I'd say.
Yeah.
Like the way John Wick be tearing through people,
Mm.
Rambo did that single-handed, all because they killed his best friend. John Wick did it for a dog,
He did it for a dog, yeah.
but because they killed his best friend, so he went back and yeah, you got to check that out. So you're going SEAL Team 6.
I'll go SEAL Team 6.
I'm going Rambo.
All right, fair.
Yeah,
It depends. Who's
Rambo.
attacking who? Like, whose turf are we on here?
Well, okay, so I'll give you. Okay, so the SEAL Team 6 members have to go catch Rambo. They have to bring him in.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be tough. I'd have to watch the movie.
Yeah, you definitely watch the movies. Text me your answer.
Okay.
Yeah, and let me know.
Yeah.
All right. How has faith impacted your experience in the Marines? You know, we're very. I'll give you some time. We're very. We talk faith, motivation, and laughter here, right?
Mhm.
And real talk, like we've been doing. And I'm a very faith is a big part of my life. So how did it really affect you while you were in the Marines?
Yeah, it was huge on we had Sundays every Sunday in boot camp. We would have like this 4 to 6 hour period in the morning time where you could just go to like a religious service. And I went to this Christian Science one, and it was really fascinating. It was very focused on like the healing elements, and this guy had crazy testimonies of going to absurd, like usually hospitals, but he knew how, like, he was very strong in prayer.
Yeah.
And he talks about all the people that he's healed, not in a boastful manner or anything, but in a really incredible way.
Yeah.
And so it was hard to retain a lot of the information because I was so sleep deprived during that entire 3 months.
Okay.
But I wish I could go back and look more into. I should look more into Christian Science, but there's that aspect of faith. I also got baptized while I was serving, and
Really?
yeah. I was baptized when I was really young, but I don't know. That was more like I was voluntold to do that.
Yeah,
Was
kind
it-
of a thing you did it because your parents had you do it, or is what everybody else was doing.
Exactly.
Like, so you got baptized when you were a kid, but it didn't really mean anything to you. And then you got baptized in the Marine Corps. So then my question to you is, did you kind of find Christ or find Jesus Christ in the Marine Corps?
Yeah, I've always known Christ. I kind of was growing up in the church, but I thought of like Christianity as more of like it's the best for the people. Like it's got good morals. If everybody follows it, then we'd like have a better society. And that was really like what I thought it was centered around, was just being a good person. But in the military, I developed a huge prayer life. I would pray before every single meal. And that spending that time in that meditation really brought me closer to Christ. And I think it really enlightened me. It opened my eyes on like, no, this isn't just centered around, Christianity isn't just like try to be a good person.
Right.
It's really, you'll never be a good enough person, but Jesus was, and what he did for you is like your ultimate, your redemption, and you're taken into heaven. And that's where I believe everybody wants to go.
So how long have you been saved then? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, probably. I started going to church. I accepted Christ in my life at a young age. I've always believed in Him, so probably 8 or 9.
Okay. So wow, and then you didn't start taking Him seriously till the military.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and then I guess from there, I mean, I've known you, and you have a lot of wisdom and knowledge. I guess, where did you kind of start to learn that wisdom and knowledge from? Was it in the Marine Corps when you started praying every day and started actually taking your faith seriously, or was it before that, or when did that start?
No, I'd definitely say when I developed that prayer life, spending a lot of time in prayer, meditation, I'd gotten a lot of wisdom because that keeps me motivated to read my Bible and stuff.
Wow.
But also, like, that takes a lot of discipline too, and so that paired with the military life was huge, very pivotal.
Right, discipline is a big factor in the walk. With Christ, it's you're saved because of your faith. And what is faithfulness? Faithfulness is discipline, standing by what you believe, right? And that takes discipline to do that, right?
Absolutely.
Especially. That's great. That's actually awesome. So, would you ever go back to the Marines if you could?
I would, and I would do it differently. Yeah.
Really? What would you do different?
I wouldn't say. I was very afraid of authority. Like, when these corporals showed up for the whole, I could have avoided that entire situation. I think if I would have held my ground a little bit, or demanded that I call one of my sergeants first and have him like pull me out of it. Yeah. Because nobody likes that stuff. Nobody likes it.
And if you do, you're a weirdo.
Exactly.
No. And I mean, there's a reason they chose you're 18, they're like a young kid, to do that, to like traumatize or whatever reason they wanted to do it for. But yeah, so you would have stood your ground. What else would you have done?
I got in some trouble. I got in quite a bit of trouble.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that entire unit. I talked about like the big drug scene, and that's usually very frowned upon. But there in that unit, even our first sergeant he would give us safety briefs every weekend, and it was like, don't do drugs. If you do, don't get caught. And so I very quickly fit into this, like, I'm going to tamper around a little bit, and I'm not going to get caught kind of mentality. I got really ignorant, and so that lasted a little bit, but then I got
What kind of trouble did you get into then, I guess, if you don't mind me asking?
I got NJP'd, I think. I don't even remember. It was kind of like a second or third strike for something. And so, and I lied. I didn't get NJP'd. I did have to serve extra punitive duty, what I was talking about earlier. I had to do that after work for like 2 months.
What?
But no NJP, so I never lost my pay. I never lost my rank.
Yeah.
So on paper, I didn't get on any trouble. If you look back on it, my record's clean there. Right. But I did
You did get into some trouble there when you were
on
there.
The side, yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. So if there was a war between all the branches of the U.S. military, who do you think would win?
Oh, Marines, hands down.
Really?
Yeah.
You think the Marines
absolutely.
are taking it?
Yeah. I mean,
and including their special forces too.
Man, I gotta get the SEALs are awesome. The Navy SEALs definitely is probably the most elite special forces out of all the branches that we have. But the rest of the Navy they get made fun of for being fat. And it is
I've seen the TikToks.
True.
I have seen the TikToks about the Navy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking the Air Force, because they can just bomb everybody.
That's true.
But that's like the Navies also have like missiles and stuff, so they could shoot them out of the air or something. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'd either go Marines or Air Force is winning out of the war out of all the branches.
I'd say so. Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, because the National Guard, let's be for real, like, you're all getting wiped. I'm not. I haven't been in the military, but everybody else, the Air Force has planes, the Navy has boats, the Army has guns, the Marines just are badasses. So like, yeah, the National Guard is getting wiped out.
Definitely. Yeah.
So what's different about the Marines' rules compared to other branches, I guess, then? You know what I'm saying?
The rules?
Their roles in war, in the military. What's different about their roles compared to the rest of the branches of the military?
Yeah, so the Marine Corps was founded in like 1775, and the reason it was founded was because the Navy needed people to protect them while they were on the boats. They needed like protectors, and so technically the Marine Corps is a department of the Navy.
Really?
Yes, we're like a sub.
Hence the name Marines, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
And
interesting. Same with like the National Guard is a department of the Army, and so Yeah, they're not like the National Guard. I don't think is its own.
It's not its own branch. Oh, so they're included in the Army. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. Maybe they're not getting wiped out. Like, yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
I take it back.
I take it back, guys. My bad. Okay, that's interesting. Can you tell I'm educated on the U.S. Army or military? You know.
Definitely. No, you know more than most for sure.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
But
so the Marines is a branch of the Navy.
Yeah.
And so their role is to protect or reinforce the Navy.
Yes, exactly. We're like the fighting power behind the Navy. There are a lot of people go to the Navy if they want to be good at like medical and like combat healers, if you will.
Really?
Yeah, but they're not a huge fighting force. So not a lot of like infantry, rugged, like lots of hikes, a lot of like training with guns and stuff. It's a lot of ship time. They have a lot of deployments, and they have to spend a lot of time on boats. Yeah, and most of them turn out gay, actually. Because
who, the Marines or the Navy?
No, the Navy.
Wow,
like, it's a huge
because there's just a lot of men.
Because that much ship time, and they just get bored. I guess I don't know what it is. But
the acid.
Maybe it might be the acid.
Is it the mushrooms and the acid?
That must be it.
Is it that
mixed with the ship time?
So that's the Navy. Not a lot of the Marines though end up.
Well, there's quite a bit.
Wow.
In the Marine Corps. Yeah.
Interesting. That's a weird fact.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? I guess all jokes aside.
Oh yeah. All jokes aside. No, for real. I think it is the ship time for the sailors. Also, it is weird though because none of them will none of them claim to be gay, but they do partake in homosexual activities. Definitely, it is really interesting. It's like if I were to partake in it, I would at least claim the title as well.
Right.
But
I guess they don't want. Just it's a hobby.
Yeah, maybe it is just a hobby.
Couple more questions here, and then we can wrap it up for sure. Well. Should the president be in charge of the whole military?
No, I don't think so.
Do you think somebody else with like maybe a higher ranking officer in the military should be in charge of the military? Someone who's actually has military experience rather than someone who's running the country in a sense. He doesn't run the whole country, but has to make decisions about the country and then has to make decisions about war, you know?
Yeah, I think that is how it mostly is. At the end of the day, like the president does get to make the big calls, but he mostly listens to like the Secretary of Defense and all the high ranking generals and stuff. I think they're mostly working on it all behind the scenes.
But is it still smart? I mean, like he works with them and takes their advice, but is it still smart for him to make that final call? No. Or should it be somebody like I'm just putting out some questions there and just some food for thought. Should it be somebody who's actually seen war, experienced war, like one of those other officers, one of those advisors, those generals, versus somebody who kind of sits back and actually doesn't see the violence in war? Yeah, you know, like because he can they could say, yeah, we need to send 1,000 troops over here. And he could say, okay, we'll send 2,000 or something. But he doesn't know the detriment to actually what's going to happen to those 2,000 people.
Exactly.
Should it be somebody who's actually knows, oh, this is what might happen to these people?
Right. Yeah, I would say I don't think the president needs that much control of the military. So? I don't think so. Especially right now when our president is he's known to be a good like financial opportunist, if you will. Yeah. So with that in mind, he might make good decisions that will ultimately put a little bit more money in everybody's pockets, but that might come at the cost of thousands more lives.
Because war makes money, right? I mean, I don't know what side I stand on it. I just kind of had to ask the question and also just some food for thought from all my viewers, you know? It's a good question. I mess with it in my head all the time. Yeah. You know, I'm like, should it be actually one of these attorney generals or war generals that's actually in charge of the military? Right. You know, someone who's been in the heat of the battle.
Yeah, I don't know too much politically, but like when the president makes decisions like that, do you think that has to get approved by like? Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah. So don't quote me. Okay, I am not a history guy or political guy, but yes, Usually when the president wants to go to war, I believe it goes to the House of Representatives and the Senate. Okay. And he does, and then they write up the declaration of war. You know, so like there is stipulations, I guess, within the United States government structure that doesn't make it like the president has the final say. But if he wants to go to war, he could say, yeah. I mean, like martial law, like that's all that. But yeah, so it has to go through some other hoops. But I'm thinking, just in general, if it has to go through other hoops, why is this guy the like in charge of all of it? You know, like if it has to go through other hoops, why don't we just have a top guy at the military who's like, hey, we need to go to war based off this, and then he goes through the Senate and the House of Representatives. Why does the president have to?
That would make more sense.
You know, like, you feel me? But hey, I don't know. Just food for thought. Who is your favorite war hero?
Favorite war hero?
Yeah.
I gotta go with Chesty Puller. He's like,
now who was he? Could you give some background?
Yeah, he's like the Chuck Norris of the Marine Corps. Like he's the type of guy that would walk into a Burger King and ask for like a Big Mac, and they would figure it out for him. You know, like they would get him a Big Mac. Like,
really? They would make him a Big Mac.
Yeah,
really?
He had the aura. He had the skills. Yeah. He had like 5 Navy crosses, which is the Marine and Navy's like highest or second highest decoration that you can get for your uniform. He had 5 of them.
Really?
So, yeah, I think he served some time in the Army too. He was an officer. He's the type of guy that would like run into like the heat of battle to go and save like 5 Marines, just dragging 5 Marines out at the time. Like he was a beast.
He was a Marine?
Yeah.
Wow.
A stud.
When did he serve? What do you know?
I think he joined right after the end of World War I, and then served through World War II. I don't remember much about him. I think Chesty might even just be a nickname. I don't even know if that's his real name.
Yeah.
But every time we had to do a bunch of research on him in boot camp, and
he's a Marine war hero.
Yes.
And I mean, wow, that's pretty cool though. That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's all the time I got today. If you like content like this, remember to like, subscribe, share, comment. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. And remember, I do this for you. I can't do this without you.